The Yeti Radio, powered by DavidLeeImaging.com. David Lee Imaging in the Titletown Music Archive and the Live 365 app. Welcome to the Backstage Lounge on the YetiRadio.com.
Welcome, everybody, to YetiRadio.com. Live in the studio in the Backstage Lounge with Without Fear. Today's interview for you. I'm going to start things off with a track called No Time for You right here in the Backstage Lounge with Without Fear on the YetiRadio.com.
we can all be quiet and peaceable and have a few beers together and listen to the music.
The Yeti.
Welcome to the Backstage Lounge, and it's Without Fear. In the studio, we have Mr. Justin and Mr. Dan joining us.
How you doing, Mike?
All right, how you guys doing?
Doing awesome, man. Thank you so much for having us.
No, my pleasure. Thank you guys for coming. It's always exciting when somebody accepts the invite and comes over and sits down, because it's just fun to get to know you guys this way. I guess kind of somewhat of an intimate setting for me, and as well as anybody that's watching or going to watch in the future, because it's kind of a digital bio for you guys.
Yeah, right. I agree.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's see. We'll get into it. I'll start with letting you introduce yourselves and how you got your start in music.
Sure. My name is Dan Drago. I play guitar for Without Fear. I actually started in college. I studied classical guitar and went to college on classical guitar for a long time. And then in the early 90s, I formed a punk band called Lust Mustard, and we were pretty popular, and we played with a lot of bands like Mandingo, Funk Junkies, The Generics. We were kind of like a punk metal band, which, with pop in it. It was definitely before Green Day, before all that shit blew up. So, we were almost ahead of the curve. And then after that, I formed a little bit of a metal band with a singer named John Kaysen, who passed away. God rest John. And we were called Hollowed Point, and we had some success there, and I met our bass player named Rock through there, and I started a band called The Furnace. And The Furnace was really where I cut my teeth on the scene. We were together about 15 years, played everywhere you could think of in the Valley. We really were like home with Joe's Grotto, Mason Jar. We were around from like 97 to 2015. Played with a ton of nationals, Sacred, Flotsam and Jetsam, King's X, Atomic Punks, a lot of big shows. We traveled. It was pretty awesome.
Awesome.
And then after that, I kind of retired, and then I decided just to do recording stuff. So I did my solo project. I did with Rush to War. I'm kind of a music whore,
Okay.
I do 1,000 bands, and then I met this guy.
So where are you from?
I'm originally from New York.
New York?
Go
Okay.
Giants. Anybody knows me. And, I moved out here when I was young. I'm married to a beautiful woman. We've been together for 30 some odd years. I don't want to say I'm already old enough, but I have two wonderful kids, a daughter, Brianne, who's 26, and a son, Nicholas, who's 19.
Okay.
They're
awesome.
my world.
Well, congratulations on getting Scatterboo.
Oh, I'm so pumped, man. Me and my son literally high-fived and were jumping for joy. I met Scatterboo. I also coach, and he was at one of my tournaments last month, and what a great kid, man. And our producer knows him really well, Larry Elia, where we do our music.
I was in the military in basic training with the Scatterboo.
No way.
So I'm sure they've got to be related somewhere
down the line.
Because that's not it's not like his name is Smith or anything.
Right, for sure.
All right, Justin.
Well, I am Justin. I am the singer for Without Fear. My background is not as impressive as his, with experience, I should say, 20 plus years probably. But I just got started writing. I'm a lyricist. Never played an instrument, so I just kind of looked for people to put around me. 20 plus years ago, I worked with somebody who was a guitarist, and we formed a band together. Played for about 5.5 years. Then it was kind of off and on with music, but always writing. And I was actually going to start another side project with two of those members. That kind of fell through. Was almost ready to give up and just say, whatever. But something told me to go to bandmix.com. That's where I found Dan, and I sent him a message, and I think we had probably 4 full songs done before we ever met in person.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty fun, pretty cool so far. So
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I even put a band mix page up is just strange. You know what I mean? It's like the chances of Justin and I finding each other was actually pretty small. I mean, honestly.
The chance of me going outside my box to do so.
Yeah, right?
was a big step.
Yeah, so that was the weird thing is I don't know what made me put up a band mix thing. I just think I was ready to do something a little bit different and try to find I wanted to find a new singer. And so I just I'll just throw some stuff on band mix. And, I had a couple of guys reach out. It just wasn't right. And then when Justin reached out, we clicked right away. And I sent him a song I had that was pretty much done. I do all my demos at home. And he wrote to it. And I was just floored, honestly. He's brilliant.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Those are the cool stories that we get to hear.
Yeah, right.
And these walls, if they could talk, even though it's only been 3 years, and I think you guys are number 89.
Nice.
So definitely, lots of fun. So you two are going to essentially be the original members?
Well, we started the band as kind of like a recording project.
Okay.
And then I've used Dale, who's our bass player, Dale Keys. He's amazing. We've known each other for 6-7 years now. He joined. I was in a band called Mortal Device, another band I did, and I met him through a drummer, Andy Crowley, at the time. And once I met Dale, he's been with me ever since. So he's kind of my right hand guy. I love using him. He's incredibly talented. He brings great ideas to the table from a songwriting perspective, and he's just our guy. And
Brett, the drummer, we all click pretty good.
Yeah, Brett McKinney, I met through Eric Seals, who's the singer of Morningstar, who you guys are going to have on.
Right.
Eric and I are real tight, and we did another band together called Locked in Time. I told you, I'm a music whore. I write a lot, man. I write so much music. And
Sometimes
Eric,
too much.
Yeah. And Eric introduced us to Brett, and me and Brett and Justin just hit it off. And I'm super excited to have Brett. He's one of the truest, most awesome dudes I've ever met and worked with. No drama, just chill. And, he's a great drummer. He was in Empire Desire for a long time and just left, but we're super excited to have him.
Awesome. I was hoping everybody was going to get to be here.
Yeah, me too.
It's that's kind of this, but and it is what it is. I've interviewed individuals, one person from the band or the whole band. It doesn't really matter. It's just for me trying to piece together the whole band is kind of the concept behind it. But
the good news is I can talk, so we
yes.
won't run out of ideas.
How'd you come up with the name?
So when me and Dan first met, kind of early on, we had conversations as we were trying to get a little more personal to get to know each other. And we both kind of, admitted to each other that we both kind of always had that fear of failure, throughout our life. So it kind of prevented us from doing things, trying new things. It kind of kept us in a box for, a little bit. So my whole idea for this project is I just wanted to have fun, wanted to write good songs. Kind of what happens, but I wanted to do it all without having fear of anything. So that's where the name came from.
Okay.
I pinned it to him, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, sounds good to me," and we've kind of went with it. So it's just all about riding, enjoying ourselves, having a good time, and
Riding the ride.
not letting anything get in the way, basically.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When Justin brought it up, because he named the band, it really resonated with me because, I'll be the first one to admit I struggle with confidence, in a lot of aspects of my life. So, I know he had said the same thing, and it was just like, it was perfect. We wanted to do this and put that fear aside and be like, you know what, let's attack this without any fear. And I've never been in a band. Honestly, I've been in so many of them where the name actually meant something to me. Except my own name when I did my solo project.
Right.
But honestly, I mean, it's a great name, and it really resonated and really told a story of who we are.
Okay. Very cool. So what's been on an individual basis, because you're fairly new together, what's been some of your biggest individual career highlights?
Do you want to go?
Yeah, you go first.
The Furnace won Best Metal Album of the Year back in the day from Keyboard City.
Okay.
That was pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I still have the trophy at home, which was really cool. We thought we should have won Best Hard Rock, but I'm not gonna. But whatever. We'll take metal. But that was a big career highlight for me. I mean, opening for Zakk Wylde was a huge one for me personally. He's one of my biggest influences. I'm an Ozzy fanatic, so that was a big one. I've toured. We've played California. We won a Battle of the Bands here in Phoenix at the Hard Rock Cafe, which was incredible. We had a lot of great accomplishments, but my best accomplishment, honestly, I'm going to get all sappy, is just the friendships I've formed. I have some great friendships that I've had over the years doing this for so long, and that means the most to me out of everything.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I'll kind of go off of that, and I know my answer is going to sound a little cheesy. But honestly, for me, as far as being involved in music, my biggest highlight has been meeting Dan. And not that, I love the guys that I was in my old band with, love them to death, they all know it. But there was like a whole other level of creativity that was open with me when I met him. So getting on stage with him for the first time is going to be cool.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to be it right there. The first time I get on stage with these guys, it'll probably be my biggest one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. We originally were just going to be a recording project only, and I just think that we're getting better. I think the songs are getting better. I think the relationship with Brett and Dale is grown, and I just think it's awesome that we're going to take it to the stage. We've been asked, and I know Justin probably even more than me, when are you going to play? When are you going to play? When are you going to play? So finally we were just like, you know what? Can I curse?
Absolutely.
All right. We were like, fuck it, man. Let's just bring this to the stage.
Let's just do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you got to think too, in the very beginning, neither one of us really knew what to expect, from each other.
Right.
Because we're like, oh, is this going to be something that lasts for a month? Is it going to be something that lasts for 2 months? And we just kind of, every song we feel has gotten better and better. And
yeah,
it's been clicking. So yeah, we're like, let's share it with everybody.
One of the highlights for me is we were shooting our video, and we'll get into the video, but I was playing a little bit, and I think Justin and Brett, well, because I played with Dale a long time, but they were both like, oh, so you could really play guitar. They had never actually even seen me play, and me and him have been writing songs for 2 years. Yeah, it's crazy. So it always makes me chuckle and think when I think about that.
That's awesome. We got your influences. Who are some of your influences?
Oh man, I grew up listening to literally everything. I would say probably my biggest influence that got me into singing is the Nixons. Love the Nixons. I'm a big, kind of 90s guy. Love 80s hair bands. It's just kind of a little of everything for me. Stuff I listen to now I would have never listened to 20 years, even 10 years ago. More singer-songwriter kind of. Everything gives me a vibe. I listen to pretty much everything. But yes, getting me into music was the Nixons.
I understand the singer-songwriter vibe because a few things that I've done recently have been directly in the middle of singer-songwriters.
Right.
That's a whole different world.
Yeah.
That is just, you sit down in the middle of 2 or 3, 4 of those people, and you're just like, what the hell is that feeling? It's insane. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I think eventually we will do, I know he's been wanting to do this for a long time, but we definitely want to do acoustic shows with the whole band, just breaking our stuff down. Everything I write, I start on the acoustic guitar. So I could peel back the heaviest riffs we do back to my acoustic, and I think that would be pretty awesome to do.
Well, the next time you come in, you'll have to...
Yeah.
I've got a mic set up for the acoustics.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because we do have a lot of songs that probably wouldn't make it into a rock set.
Right.
So yeah, we can do a whole other set of acoustic, easily.
And I'd be remiss if I could talk about influences a little bit. Of course, I mentioned
absolutely.
Zach and Randy Rhoads. Of course, I'm a big Ozzy, Tony Iommi. But then I'm also like a big Pixies fan from like the 90s alternative scene, Everclear. I'm a huge Beatles fan. I like a lot of like gothic metal with Unto Others, bands like that. And I think when you listen, Ghost has been a big influence to me of late. I mean, I think everything I've been sending him lately has got a little bit of Ghost vibe, and Dale's a big Ghost guy too. But I think if we put that all together, it kind of is the Without Fear sound. I'm definitely not trying to say like, oh, we're the most original band, but you can't really pigeonhole us. Are we metal? Are we rock? Are we acoustic? I mean, we kind of just we throw whatever we want to do against the wall, and that's pretty refreshing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's you have to make your music for you. The one thing that I found doing this with interviewing the bands, you've got to do you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fans will either come or not.
Right.
And but you have to stay true to yourself, or else it's not going to be fun.
Right.
Eventually,
Yeah.
trying to please others. So
Man, I think that's spot on,
cool.
Mike. I think one of the things we've always talked about in every band I've had, which is like, it's gonna sound so conceited, but I believe it, man. If this isn't your favorite band, then you probably shouldn't be in it. And I feel that way about us for sure. I mean, I wouldn't want to work with anybody else. Justin is my guy. Brett, Dale. I mean, like, that's it. These are our four. I hate to use that, the old Bon Jovi, like, I don't remember. I just know he was big on This Is the Family. And I feel the same way. And it's like the music we create together, I listen to it probably along with this guy more than anybody in the world, except maybe my wife. But, we ride or die the music. And if we're not huge fans of what we do, I don't want anybody in here faking it.
Absolutely. Can't have that.
No.
Because that
Yeah,
just...
having all the songs and being so diverse is something we talked about in the very beginning, and mainly for myself, because once I was able to get out of that comfort zone and get out of the box, when I found him, I was like, okay, now I want to try stuff I've always wanted to try. 'Cause I've always been a rock vocalist, but I think I can do more than that vocally, the singer-songwriter stuff more, chill. And it's kind of something I've always wanted to push myself to do. So the fact that he was good with it and he writes great stuff, it's kind of worked out good for both of us. So
Yeah,
Awesome.
Just where our headspace is now, actually Dale wrote a beautiful piano song that we recorded. It's unreleased. It'll be coming out over the next couple of months. And Justin wrote the vocals and the lyrics, and it is gorgeous, unlike anything we've ever done. I don't even play on it, to be honest. It's just beautiful. I produced it with Larry, and we gave it our all, and I thought it came out great. And now Dale and I are writing this 10-minute epic that he hasn't really heard too much yet, but it's like drop C, super heavy. I mean, couldn't be more on the opposite end of the spectrum. And
wow.
and I love that. Why not? Why can't we be both?
Yeah, been the hell out of it. So what's the songwriting process? Do you start? You said you typically start with an acoustic guitar. Or?
Yeah. So I'll I play every day, and I'm not a cover guy. I just talked to my brother about this today. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, John. Covers just doesn't move me for some reason, and I just don't like playing them. I mean, I like, I'll play Sabbath and Ozzy just because I love it so much. But every time I pick up my guitar, it's to write, and I write every single day. That's my goal. Do I keep everything? Of course not. But, there's a ton of shit I have in my folder that I'd never see the light of day. But so I start on the acoustic, and sometimes we have two paths to write. Sometimes I'm so jazzed about it, I send it to him straight up with the acoustic track, and he starts writing to it. And then he sends back his melodies and ideas, and then I track it on my Mac at home with a drum machine and all electric guitars, and then send it to Dale to write bass lines, and then we send it to Brett to write drums. So that's kind of it. Or sometimes I'll just go straight to the Mac, map it all out, and then send it to him, and then send it to the guys.
Okay.
Yeah, so we always start with the music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever started with the lyrics?
I have. There's been a few, quite a few times where I've done that, where it's just something will pop in my head, a melody with lyrics, at the most random times.
Right.
Always.
It's almost
And,
like Murphy's Law.
Yeah. And so if that is the case, I'll normally just sing it by myself, so he can get the melody, and then we can figure it out from there. But more times than none, like you said, he'll send me the music, and it's instant melody most of the time, and it's like the feel of the song will just give me what I need the song to be about. So yeah, that's pretty. But like I said, shower time, that's where a lot of my my lyrics pop into my head, and that's where things are written. And it's just cool random times. But yeah, it's I just come up with lyrics and the melody, and then throw down my idea and send it back to him. And
does that mean you take more showers than a normal person?
Yeah, exactly. Possibly. I
Come out all waterlogged and look like a raisin. I got stuck on a song in the shower, honey. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, and Justin, you just ooze melody, dude. Like every time I send him something, the melodies are just incredible, which is my favorite part of music. I know I'm the guitar player, but if it doesn't have a great melody, you have nothing. That's kind of my opinion. More important than anything is that melody. which is why I'm a big Ozzy fan. The weirdest one was, I think you had texted me and you said, I got this melody kind of like a country rock vibe, right? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay. And I sent him a song, and it turned into a song called What Kind of Man, which we haven't even recorded yet. It's still sitting in demo form. But it was like we had like some sort of brain light, like we were on such the same page.
That's
It was
going to be a good song.
Yeah, but it was kind of crazy. Yeah, really
awesome. Where do you actually draw the inspiration for the lyrics on a song?
A lot of it just comes from, like I said, if I have an idea, get a melody in my head, and then the music kind of like, oh, this song sounds like it should be about, whether it's a love song or it's a hate love song, and then I kind of just start toying around with different lyrics. I mean, I've gotten ideas from movies, I've gotten ideas from other songs, and that's when I said random times. I can be watching a movie or a TV show or something, and something will happen in there that will just put this idea in my head, and that's where I'll write. And it's kind of the one thing that I always crack up is sometimes you hear my songs and you're like, that's not you, that doesn't sound like you. Well, I'm not writing about me all the time. People are like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm like I'm writing something. I have songs written about men's mental health. It's like, are there some things in there that could be me? Yes, but for the most part, it's kind of like
general statements.
Yeah, general statements from anybody. People that have been through it, and it's kind of like I tell everybody's story, I guess I would say. So yeah, not everything is about me when I write it.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say one of the things I love Justin's lyrics, by the way, because a lot of them are very heartfelt, they're thought-provoking, and they're emotional. And I think you have to have emotion in music, right? I think that's what people feel and react to. But I love that you're not afraid to write something inspirational. So we have two songs. One is called Blink of an Eye, and the other one is called Stand Together. Blink of an Eye is one of the first songs we wrote together, and Stand Together is one of the newest songs. And I love that they're positive messages. Blink of an Eye is you talking to your kids, right?
Yeah.
You want to expand on that one real quick?
Yeah, it was a song I wrote, basically having a conversation with my kids, telling them, be happy in life. Do the things you want to do, and because everything can change. Just like we were talking when we first got here, about
right.
Everything can change. You don't know.
In the blink of an eye.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly it. And it happens to be both of my kids' favorite song. My wife really loves the song, And then yes, Stand Together.
Stand Together is our new
one. So I have both my kids. I have a 15-year-old son and a 21-year-old daughter, and they're both really involved in musical theater. So Stand Together, which you'll hear, is them and then three other kids that are part of the theater, that I had the idea to sing the chorus along with me, and that's what's in the song. It came out better than I imagined, but yeah, so it's been a lot of fun.
It premiered on the show last night.
Yeah, it did.
On Wide World of Music.
Which is awesome. Thank you for that.
I announced that they're standing together, but tomorrow they're going to be sitting together.
Exactly. I love the fact that Justin, has the idea and the confidence to say, hey, what do you think about starting the song with a choir? And I think sometimes and some people would be like, rock, choir, we don't want to do it, but I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And it was a great idea.
I was actually a little proud of myself on that, just because I was like, this is my first producing moment, I guess I could say.
Yeah.
I'm not a producer, but
we got some good footage.
Metallica can do an orchestra.
That is awesome. Yeah, exactly. But I'm really proud of it.
It came out just how I heard it in my head, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's your favorite song to perform?
Well, we don't know yet because we're jamming on Sunday for the first time, but I think it's going to be a song called Killing Me. It's super high intensity. It's got some really blazing guitar solos in it, and I love the lick in it too. So right now, Killing Me.
Okay.
I would probably say Into the Night or Gaslighter.
Yeah,
okay.
Gaslighter is one of my favorite songs I've written right now. So
yeah.
Probably Gaslighter.
Awesome.
I'd go with that one.
You got a song that's more difficult to play?
Yeah,
whether it's the emotional side of it from the lyrics that are written into it, or degree of difficulty?
Why don't you go first? I've been talking a mile a minute.
Well, he said play. You guys have the more difficult getting all your instruments together. I don't play, I just sing.
Shockingly, we have a song called Burn Your Halo. It's not terribly difficult, but there's a lot of string skipping. Okay. And to stand up, play live, and get into it, if you're not really paying attention, string skipping can be kind of tricky. So it's not like the chords are very difficult, but the string skipping can be pretty weird. And it's clean picked, so you just got to be really precise. Some of my leads, I think the lead in Killing Me is pretty tough. Trying to think what other leads I've been working on my leads. So, here's the irony. We wrote these songs, some of them 2 years ago, and I haven't gone back to play them. So I'm having to listen to everything and relearn everything I wrote. And it's kind of been a awesome experience because I'll relearn the riff and I'll be like, man, that's badass, And
Nothing like having to come back and relearn your own song.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
feel like a new member of the band.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say actually Burn Your Halo right now has been the toughest song to learn.
Okay. You got one that's tough to sing lyrically, since that.
Honestly, No Time for You. You just played. We haven't done that live, but recording it just because it has the fast parts, a little breathy.
Okay.
I think I've got it down, but as far as what I feel I put the most on, that's kind of the toughest, probably Into the Night. The chorus on that, but. That's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we should announce we have a live guitar player. His name's John Gordon. Okay. Awesome, great guy. He plays in a lot of cover bands in the Valley. And the drummer of Stereo Rex, Paul Birch, introduced me to him. Okay. They play together a little bit. And John has been a perfect fit. So I've been having to record all the songs for John, and then he can learn it. So I'm learning my old parts for rhythm, and then I got to learn my parts for the harmonies over it. So it's been a blast learning all of these different parts. But I'm excited to get John out there because all of my songs have multiple guitar parts. I like to layer. I got that Phil Spector in me of that wall of sound. So there's just no way we could have done it with a single guitar player. So we're super excited to have John on board.
Yeah, I'm almost astonished that any band doesn't have at least two.
Right.
Just from the complexity of some of the songs.
Yeah.
I know when it comes down to touring and stuff like that, it's all about dollars and cents. And I get that. I know people that have dropped members of the band because we can backing track that.
Right. I think right now we're pretty in the hole.
Well, yeah.
All of us really, but definitely Justin and I are in the hole financially on this band. But we love it. It's worth it, you know.
Well, I can tell you about money pits.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. Some of these questions don't actually apply just yet.
It's okay.
So you're going to have to come back.
All right.
Let's see. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened during rehearsals or band practice?
Anything? We're all old, normal dudes. I mean, we don't even drink at rehearsal. We're just pretty normal guys. Nothing really. I mean,
that's another question to ask next time.
Yeah.
After we
that's the question. Yes. Anything strange that happened on stage?
Yeah,
you haven't been there yet, so
right.
Yeah.
Anything ever happened in the past? Weird.
My drummers walked off set in middle of set drunk. That happened.
Oh wow!
Hi, Paul. In the furnace, he was just so drunk. He was playing the wrong song behind what we were playing, and just was like, "Fuck it!" He threw his sticks up in the air. We have it on video. I love it. And just walked right off stage. I don't know if I could.
You'll have to link me on that.
Yeah,
I want to see
classic.
that.
Yeah, and I got to give a shout out to Paul Birch. I mean, Paul shot our video for No Time for You. We also have another video he's editing today. Actually, we shot it at the same time called On the Outside. Another one I'm really, really proud of. But Paul has always been a big supporter of me personally. He's my best buddy in the world, and I just got to say thanks, Paul.
Absolutely. Great guy.
He's a great
guy.
Got
lots of friends.
Yes, he does. I would say that, so to tell us a little bit about what we've been doing. So we wrote 13 songs and recorded them with Larry Elia at Mind's Eye Studio.
Okay.
And Larry is amazing at what he does. I mean, I really feel like the sound of these songs took us to a whole nother level. And I'm just super stoked for this material. And So we've only released 2 so far. No Time for You and Stand Together.
Yep, Stand Together.
Burn Your Halo comes out Friday of this week, and then that leaves us 10 more that we have in the can ready to go.
And then probably another 20.
So when's Gaslighter coming out? Since we're premiering it today.
Well, we're probably going to shoot a video for that one.
Okay.
Larry also does video, and Paul and I and Justin have talked, and we're probably going to use Larry for that video, and we'll probably debut that once we get the video shot. So I'm hoping for maybe summer for that one. So you're getting an exclusive with Gaslighter because it's not coming back out for a while.
Okay.
And that's our favorite song.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, and thank you.
My favorite song.
But you've also inspired me for another show, and I don't know. It'll have to be once I come back from the trip I'm getting ready to take. But,
Of course.
The Yeti Radio meets the studios, and I'm going to have to start going and doing interviews at all the studios.
Yeah.
Interviewing all the producers.
Yeah, there's a lot of great ones in the Valley.
This is a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
For sure. 100%.
But that also comes from somebody else that keeps trying to get me to go somewhere, and we haven't been able to line it up yet, but it's definitely an idea now to just go hang out with the producers in the studio for an hour and a half or so and chew on their ear and find out what they're doing and how they're doing it and who they're doing it with and or for.
Right? Exactly.
No innuendos. Not on the Yeti Radio. Come on.
Never. Never.
Let's see. Okay. Previous bands. What has been your favorite venue to play at?
I love the Marquee personally. I just think it's a nice open venue. It sounds great. The stage is big. We could draw a lot of people there, so we love the Marquee.
The stage is huge.
It's stage is
for
huge.
that room. It's ginormous.
Yeah. I'd say also Joe's Grotto. I mean, Joe Grotto is an inspiration in the Valley here for me personally, in the scene for local music. I don't know if you were here when Joe's Grotto was open, but it was the place to go.
I'm saddened that I wasn't.
Yeah.
Because I hear a lot about Joe. And
yeah, he was the best. And I felt like we actually, I don't want to say built Joe's Grotto, but we were definitely one of a few bands that were the backbone of putting that, I think, venue on the map. And, we give a lot of love and credit to Joe for helping us in the early days, for sure. I'll tell you this, we're excited for the 44. It's our first time playing the 44.
Okay.
We're opening up for Adema. Why don't you talk about the show a little bit, Justin?
July 6th.
Yep.
Right?
Sunday night, July 6th.
July 6th. Opening for Adema, which is pretty cool because I opened it for Adema 15 years ago.
That's so cool.
With my old band, with Tantric. And Tantric's always been one of my favorite bands, so that was fun. But, this show's going to be a lot of fun. And then the boys from, what is it, Latency? And
I can't remember
the other name. Sorry, guys.
I have Blackstone Cherry stuck in my brain. It's very close to that.
Yes, it's like Black Swamp or something
like that. They're a really cool band, though.
Great Black Swamp?
Yeah, Great Black Swamp. That's it. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
There it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just learned that we were playing with them.
Yeah.
We got a message from one
of the
guys.
Great bunch of guys. They've been here already. So.
Awesome.
Cool.
So Great Black Swamp and Latency are also playing on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome. Which is really good.
Good time.
Yeah, which is awesome. I think it's going to be a great lineup. I mean,
it sounds like it.
Yeah, Adema's awesome. I don't know. I know we get a 45-minute set, so
nice.
Yeah, which is I always like playing long sets. I mean, back in the day, Joe would call us up when it was just opening up and be like, "Hey, can the Furnace play Thursday?" And we'd play like an hour and a half of originals, which was awesome. We loved it. Because there was it was who the heck was going out on a Thursday night to see original bands. Right. But we kept his doors open, got people out there, and it was a lot of fun. But we can't wait.
That's the hard thing today is getting the people off their asses.
Yeah, right.
It's it seems like it's almost impossible. It seems like it's getting better, but not to the degree as it dissipated.
Yeah. Well, COVID, I'm sure. Not to go down a rabbit hole, but. I think the 44 is going to be the new Grotto for sure. Like, I know Joe helped get that place going.
Oh, okay.
They got great people working there. They're really pleasant and awesome to work with. It's a great venue. If you guys haven't been to the 44, check it out. I go see a lot of bands there. Okay. And they're bringing in a lot of nationals.
Yeah.
Well,
I had been there before the construction.
Right.
And met the husband of the owner, or the husband owner, and had talked to him one night, and he's like, "Yeah, this is all changing." I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Cool," because that stick out bar was in the way.
Yeah, right. Their stage is great now, though.
Oh yeah,
it's
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want to
sure.
announce the exclusive for our next show, Justin? We had another show booked.
Oh,
November 22nd, right?
Yeah.
22nd, November 22nd, opening for Trapped.
okay.
Yeah, which we're really
That's going to be a good show.
Yeah, that's also at the 44.
Also at 44.
Yeah. For both shows, you can go to both of us or anybody in the band for tickets. I think they're going to be $20, $25, somewhere around there.
Right.
Because they're national shows. Anytime you get on a national show, it's a little
Right.
bit more expensive. But we feel that we'd rather play the national shows. For us personally, we just think our music fits, and it doesn't come from a conceited area. We just think it fits better with some of those national artists because, we don't want to. Some of the local bands, they're amazing. They're just a little heavier for us. And, I think sometimes when you get on a show with a super heavy band, it's always been my problem. You either play with the death metal guys and you're too wimpy, and then you play with the indie alt bands like Jim Blossoms back in the day, and you're like metal. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like trying to find that sweet spot of hard rock with vocal melodies that isn't screaming, and that's where we are. And a lot of the national bands kind of fall into that.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but Headstrong was such a big song. We're super excited to be with Trapped. That's a great show.
Awesome. Looking forward to all that. I should definitely be back by then.
You better be.
If not, we have a problem, Houston. So we're going to break for the intermission, and we're going to play Stand Together, which also premiered last night on the Wide World of Music right here on the YetiRadio.com. Check that out. Hopefully, once I return, I can get that into a more regimented schedule as opposed to trying to make up 150 songs that I'm behind because life happens. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's a calendar on my website, and I try to post them ahead of time with the logo for Wide World of Music so you might know when the show is going to be.
Nice.
The only bad part is what time, because an 8-year-old and a almost 5-year-old, so life stays busy in this house.
Busy.
But here's Without Fear and Stand Together on the Yeti Radio in the Backstage Lounge.
If we stand together, they can bring us down, bring us down.
Everyone knows not everything is what it seems. So don't let them trap you into false reality. They try to fill our minds with all the hate they feel. But in the end, we all know what is real. If we stand together, they can't bring us down. There is strength in numbers, so let's go for our own ground. And if we stand together, they will know they failed to make us hate each other with all of the lies they like to tell. Like to tell, like to tell. I know sometimes we are blinded by the truth, but don't let our ignorance pass judgment without proof. They try to fill our glass with poison to consume, but in the end we all know what to do. If we stand together, they can't bring us down. There is strength in numbers, so let's go for our own ground. And if we stand together, they will know they failed to make us hate each other
Back in the studio on the YetiRadio.com and the Backstage Lounge, and it's Without Fear. Oh, and so, what do we have? Let's see. If you could collaborate with anybody, sit down and write a song for or with, who would it be?
Yeah, this is an easy one for me. Sorry, Justin.
You're good.
Anybody who knows me knows the answer to this one, man. That's Ozzy. I mean, for Ozzy to write a melody over my music would be the ultimate, like, you know, wouldn't even have to do music again. That would be like the ultimate for me. You know, I've been such a fan for 40 years now. You know, it's like he's everything for me. And if I could write a song with Ozzy, that would be it for sure.
I would put two guys on the same level if I could sit down and write, and that would be Zach Malloy, singer for the Nixons. And I'm a huge Justin Furstenfeld from Blue October fan.
Okay.
That guy, the emotion he pours into his songs and his lyrics, I would love to write a song with him.
So there we go. So Zach, if you're listening, we'll pay for your flight to come to
Zach
Phoenix.
or Justin.
And, you know, let's have us do a duet. That would be awesome.
Zach and Justin
together.
Do a trio.
Here we go. That's a great answer.
Musical threesome.
Hey.
Innuendos, remember?
Yes, exactly.
Let's see. I win a stupid lottery. And I'm going to put 4 or 5 bands together, and we're going to go tour.
Okay.
Where are we going? Anywhere in the world. Pick it. The biggest place you want to play.
I mean, I think it would be great to play Brazil. You know, I mean, that would be amazing. You know, you got all those Iron Maiden live records filmed there, the Rock in Rio and all that. That would be awesome. There's some great festivals in Europe. That would be great. But for me personally, Madison Square Garden. You know, I'm from New York. That would be like the ultimate, you know, Wembley Stadium would be amazing. The Coliseum in LA would be amazing. But Madison Square Garden, that would be the just the
I
greatest.
would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that one.
Right.
So much goes on at that point.
Has so much history.
Talk about walls talking.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Probably tell you some shit you didn't want to hear.
Definitely. But shit, at this point, I just take playing the celebrity theater, you know?
Right?
Yeah.
Let's see. What's the best thing about being a musician?
Why don't you go first?
For me, it's about opening up more, like I said earlier, my creative side. I think that for me, that's the best thing because it kind of shows different sides of myself that maybe friends, other people don't, know about me. So for me, it's just all about the creativity. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, same for me. When you create something with somebody, it's personal. It's like I feel such a connection to this guy because of how much we've collaborated together, and it's in a weird way. It's almost like being in a marriage, and I know it's such a cliche, but it's so true.
No cliche at all. That's what they say.
Yeah.
This is worse than a marriage.
Sometimes.
Because you have
Definitely
way more
some
personalities.
He hasn't got me a ring yet.
No. Dad, I got to get the ring. But
So no experience in that yet?
No.
None at all?
What's that?
No exes or nothing?
I'm married. I've been with my wife for 30 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
see, we're in the same guy, the same thing.
There you go.
But that creativity of work, it just creates a bond that's unbroken. And I have other people that I've done that with, and I hope they realize how special they are to me, even though it might not always seem that way. But for me, it's definitely the creating songs together and meeting people. I mean, it's kind of a similar thing, but it's I would say it's next to sex is the greatest thing in the world. But you create a song. I start on my bedroom with my acoustic guitar, and now I'm listening to Stand Together here, and it's like, how the fuck did that happen? You know what I mean? It's such a great feeling, man. And that's the best thing. And I still get goosebumps when I write something and he sends me, it's so stupid, but when Justin sends me his first vocals back on what I sent him, it's my favorite moment. Even more than that, because it's the birth of like, holy shit, this is what it's going to be. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the
something coming together.
Yeah, I got as my buddy Josh would say, got the chill bumps.
The one thing I've seen in about 5,000 texts from him every time I would write something is, man, that is fucking incredible. It's always the same. It's always the same.
Yeah, he sent me the bridge for writing a new song called Into the Night, which is fucking awesome. Like I said, we're our biggest fans, which, whatever, man. I'm proud to be our biggest fans. But I heard the bridge for the first time today, and it's fucking awesome, man.
Thank you, because I literally wrote it in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, sometimes that's the best thing. We're relearning Fading Out, which is one of our older songs for the show. And I played it, and it's so simple. It's like E flat. I mean, it's E major, no, E minor, G major, A major, back to E minor. It's as traditional as you can get, but it just works. Sometimes simple works, and quick works. Sometimes if I overthink shit, it doesn't happen. I remember Paul McCartney said one time, if I can't finish the song that day, it's just not worth it. He wants to finish the idea, and we're kind of like that. I mean, up until the bridge. I always stop at the bridge. Maybe Justin will throw in an idea, or I'll come back to it. But that intro, verse, chorus. I want to get pre-chorus. I want to get that down all together.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. What's the worst part about being a musician, other than money?
Yeah, I would say when I was touring, being away from home was tough. Okay. I'd be away from home. My kids were little, and I just remember kind of moping in my room. And those guys were going out and having some fun, and I just wanted to go home. And that's when I knew it was kind of like, shit, maybe this isn't for me anymore. I wanted to see my kids grow up. And being away from home was really, really tough when we were doing a lot of short shows and touring and being away. That was the worst part.
Okay.
Yeah, worst thing. Again, I don't have nearly as much experience as Dan does, so I haven't had a lot of opportunities to have bad moments. But as a writer, and that being my biggest job, writer's block.
That sucks too.
Right.
Is everybody gets it. That's the biggest thing for me. Just getting the writer's block, and luckily, again, I haven't had a lot of it since meeting Dan, which it has been huge. But I still have my moments.
How do you cope with that?
Well, I think he gave me a piece of advice, and where he just kind of so I'm one of those people, I just want to get it done. I want to finish something, but I've gotten myself to a point where I've learned it's okay to just put it on the back burner. If it's a day, a week, a month, go back to it. Couple of songs that we do have, I've had for 10 plus years written, I could just never finish until him. So it's kind of like I've just kind of learned to accept the fact that I don't, that I don't have to do it all in one night. Just put it to the side and come back to it, and if it's worth it, it's worth it.
Let it set and fester.
Yeah.
Hey, I should ask if any of the watchers out there have a question for us. Make sure you hit up Mike. You have to type it in YouTube. How do you get there?
From the YouTube channel.
Yep.
If you're watching from the YetiRadio.com, you just click on I want to say it's the bottom left corner. It'll take you straight to YouTube, where the chat box is at. What about you for writer's block?
Yeah, I definitely get it as well. I mean, that's why I try to write every day, because when I'm in writer's block, which happens, I was in a phase for about 3 months, a couple of months ago, and that's why I record when I'm hot. Like, when the ideas are flowing, that if I do get in a writer's block, I could go through I hate to be Kirk Hammett, my 1,000 riffs on my phone, but I could go back when I was good that I haven't used yet and go, okay, I'll just start working on these, and then that'll get me out of it, So I always have something in the back burner to rely on. So that's why I'll record a lot when I am feeling it. But, I guess it's just that old cliche, if you are struggling with something, to get up and keep trying. I mean, because eventually it's going to break itself free.
So what do you do in your free time?
Outside of doing music? Do you want to go first?
So I've been a stay-at-home dad for 15 years now.
Okay.
So outside of me doing music, it's tending to the household things. It's getting my kid to and from school, We joke around now because he's going to be driving in October. I'm
That's a hard one.
I got to find something to do. I got to find something else.
Right.
You'll be worrying. You'll be worrying.
Oh, I'll be
find
worrying
a hobby
half
job.
The time, but yeah, I love it. Like I said, I've been one for 15 years, and it's what works for our family. My wife travels for a living, so having me home eases her mind a lot.
Right.
So
I'm kind of in the same boat. It's only been a year and a half for me, but being a stay-at-home dad's has its perks, but it has its challenges too. So.
Right. Yep.
So I work for a company called Granger. If you ever heard of Granger, they're all over the place. So that's what I do for my day job. And then I also coach football. So I'm a very busy guy outside of being a husband. I almost said a wife. Being a husband and a father. But I coach 7-on-7 competitive football, which I also travel for.
Okay.
I coach.
What's 7-on-7 football? I've never.
It's a passing league. So all the high school players, like sophomores and juniors, in their off season, they come and do club ball with us.
Okay.
And then we'll travel. We'll go to LA and Vegas a lot and all those different areas. And I'm in a very high profile club, so we'll play against guys that'll hit up, that'll eventually get to the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah, some of my kids will get D1 offers. It's a big part of my life because of the relationships I form with my kids, man. They're just the greatest kids, and if I could be an influence on them at all and steer them in a path or help them get a D1 scholarship, it's well worth all of my time, money, and energy and effort.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it.
Probably tries to convert them all to Giants fans.
Yeah, they love to tease me about it.
Damn New Yorkers.
Exactly.
Let's see. What do you consider to be a successful music career today as opposed to 40 years ago?
Right. Yeah, this is open up a can of worms. This is a tough one because, going back to our name Without Fear, there's a lot of times I feel like a failure. I'm just going to be perfectly honest doing this because I haven't made the big time and made the money and done this. And, my wife is very supportive of making me realize that. And Paul Birch, me and him have a conversation quite often because, we're very similar. And, I have my eyes on the prize and I have those delusions of grandeur, whatever the word is, grandeur. Nope, what is it? My son's going to make fun of me now, damn it. And I believe in us so much that the fact that we are not, and this can be conceited, but the fact that we are not making millions of dollars and touring the world just fucks with my brain a little bit. It's like I don't see what we're missing. Like, what are people from the outside not seeing? You know what I mean?
It's not them.
Yeah.
It's not you. It's them.
Yeah.
It's the industry.
Yeah, the industry's changed.
Yeah.
No.
Well, Spotify and streaming.
The industry is more selfish today than it's ever been.
Yeah. Well, you could only make money touring.
Right.
And I can't leave my day job. It's like the chicken and the egg. How do you leave your day job and go tour without making money? I mean,
right.
You just got to figure it out. But it's a tough one. I mean, some people could say success just recording and releasing great songs is a success. And that is correct on, how many people are getting to do that, right? But at the end of the day, my ego says, God, why are we not bigger? And I know maybe rock is not a massive thing anymore. It is on the underground. Like, metal is still thriving more than ever. There's so many great metal bands, but we don't really see a lot of hard rock bands on the scene anymore.
Yeah, not too many.
Yeah, especially when you get into the
elite.
The upper echelon.
You know,
There's no telling where we're going though, because it changes
right?
so frequently and so often. I'm kind of interested to where the next change is going to take us.
Yeah.
It's funny
Because
because
there's a lot of complaining right now.
yeah,
And is it justified? I don't know. Because shit changes. Evolution.
right.
Evolution's evolution. Has been for billions of years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, so the evolution of the last 40 years as opposed to the evolution of the 40 years before that.
right.
It's insane. And it's a conversation I like to have with the elders, because they were back in the day eating green steaks,
Yeah,
you know, and today we got fast food restaurants. So, and a computer in your pocket now. So
Yeah.
tell me about the transition for you, because that's the evolution of it all.
right.
I mean, you break it down into each individual genre, like music. Look at the evolution of music. It's been so strange if you look at them individually, how one went to the next, and then so on and so forth. And it's just amazing to see the
Well,
differences.
and think about where it's going to go, like you're talking about with computers, AI. Who even knows? I mean, there are people out there, but the problem I have with modern music today is they just aren't playing instruments. I don't mind a little auto-tune here and there or whatever. You need to play some tape. I saw a great show last night. The guys had to play some tape. But how else are you going to get an orchestra in a small club? Of course you got to
Right.
put that on tape. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
But the fact that these people don't sing, they don't really play their instruments. Being a college guy who went to school for music, it's hard for me to just relate to any of that. That's not actual music.
Right.
What do you think? What is success for you, Justin?
For me, honestly, I mean, one person likes one of my songs,
Yeah.
I consider it a success. I'm like, I've never, I thought of it to a level as I want to try to be a rich rock star or, anything. Even when I first started in music, it wasn't, I didn't think like that. It was, I liked writing. Ultimately, and him and I have discussed this, we have a bunch of different songs that we actually want to pitch out and try to sell, because ultimately at the end of the day I would love to be a songwriter,
Yeah.
or part of a team on my own, with him. And so it's that's my ultimate thing. But would it be cool to make money off of my music? Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. But
Well, there's been a couple of posts that have come across my feed that I've shared to submit music for commercials and movies
Right.
and TV shows.
Yeah.
So they're definitely.
yeah, and I would love to do that.
Yeah, I know there's the taxi and there's a couple other services that we've talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think some of our songs would be great for movies. Some of the emotional ones for sure.
Yeah.
Like It's Over. That'd be great
Yeah.
for a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great
Absolutely.
question. That's a good one, Mike.
Thank you. With the changes that have occurred over the last 40 years in the industry, is there anything that you would change and go back to?
No. I mean, I love recording on computers, and I love the fact that I have a built-in studio at my home to do demos. It's so incredible, and I think, you work with a producer like Larry at Mind's Eye, who really understands recording, and I think there's a lot of good stuff out there today. I mean, I think technology is wonderful if it's used right. I mean,
Yeah.
back in the day, I remember when we were recording some of our early records, if the drummer didn't make it through the song the whole way, you were done. You had to start over. Nowadays you can
Right.
punch in, which I think is great. Think about how much, much time and money that saves. But
Well, one of those tapes back then was
the DAT tapes, right?
Yeah, the DAT tapes. How much were those?
I know, it's absolutely crazy. But I remember holding my breath when we were doing some recording sessions in the early days of the Furnace, where I'd be like, all right, we're 4 minutes in. Come on, Paul, you got 25 seconds. Don't fuck up, dude. Because that's what your mentality was, because you knew if you made a mistake at the end with the drums, you had to start. There was no fixing drums, nothing
Right.
like that. And, I like that concept and idea of, hey, that's really who we are. But I don't mind a little studio trickery here and there. I think it's great. As long as you use it right. We're all playing our instruments.
I think it's cool.
Exactly.
That I can send my vocals to him literally through GarageBand off of my cell phone.
Right. It's so cool.
That's how I do it. I plug it in, I sing it, and send it to him, and he does his magic on, because I'm not techie, but
yeah, and it goes about the way I changed, because back in the day I would write one riff, bring it to a band room, then we'd all get together and we would work out the song. Well, now I could write the riff, I could double it. If I want to quad the riff, I could quad it. Then I could loop it, and I could write melodies over it. I could write my solo. I could do it all right there. And I enjoy working that way a lot. I mean, because now I can work on my own time and drink a cup of coffee, hang out in my pajamas, and play my guitar, or, and do whatever I want. And, I just think it's opened up my creativity something like crazy. I'm more creative than ever.
Awesome. Let's see. What's the best advice you've been given as a musician?
I think just to have fun, like, honestly, and it's not just from one person, but I've heard it from, have fun, enjoy doing what you're doing. For me, that's been the biggest thing, because I would get in my head a lot, whether it was the writer's block or that fear of failure, where I'm just like, don't know what direction to go. So once I was able to just kind of loosen up and write and just do what I wanted when I wanted, I think from multiple people it's been that, just have fun, don't worry about it. I've always been a very what's meant to be will be, everything happens for a reason kind of guy. So that's what I kind of just I live by, and I try to enjoy myself the best I can.
Awesome.
For me personally, is never settle as a musician. So one of the things that inspires me the most about Randy Rhoads is, he just won Best Guitar Player of the Year. He was considered this up-and-coming god, and every city he toured in, he took lessons from other guitar peoples in those cities. And that is so inspiring to me, that the guy that everybody was loving and looking up to. So for me, it wasn't necessarily advice, but the idea of, if you think you're at the top of your game and you're never going to get better, that's just the wrong attitude. You should always, in everything you do, in my job, in my relationships, as a father, as a guitar player, I should always strive to get better every day. And there shouldn't be a ceiling, as a musician. I should be able to have breakthroughs, even if I've been playing for 40 years.
I relate to that. Not on the music level. Somebody had a issue with me, and I asked them, because they obviously weren't mature enough to tell me they had a problem with me. I had to ask them what their issue was, and, well, you walk around here like you're better than everybody else. And I'm like, no, never said that. Yeah, never thought that. I said, I come to work, and if I'm working harder than you, that's not on me.
Right.
And
a lot of people hate to be told you've changed, or I look at it as a compliment. You're right, I changed. I'm not the same person I was a year ago. I've grown. I'd hope to like to think that.
Oh, Paul's watching.
Oh, right. What's up, Paul?
Of course he is. How many times has Dan met Ozzy?
Oh, that's a good question. It's not as many as you would think. I've seen him about 25 times.
Okay.
But I've met him 3.
Okay.
Yeah, which was awesome. It's a great question.
I could only imagine.
Yeah, it was
I know just some of the ones that I've got to meet in my life doing the things that I've got to do is just, it's mind-blowing.
To be honest, though, one of the bigger thrills, even meeting Ozzy, was Paul. When we opened for Zach, Paul and I, so we played at a club. I don't remember what it was called anymore, but it was downtown, and Zach snuck away and went to Cooperstown to go get some beers by himself, and Paul and I followed. And, because Paul's got balls, he's like, fuck it, let's go, Dan. It's your hero. And we got to hang out with Zach for about 15 minutes, just him and the drummer and me and Paul, just drinking beers at Cooperstown. And that was awesome, because I got to see the real guy, who was so awesome, totally chilling down to earth.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I actually got to have dinner at Cooperstown before it closed.
Oh, yeah, I used to go a bunch. Yeah.
It's, I have my T-shirt.
Nice.
And then when I first started doing this, back before it got into the scene, it was at the press room.
Okay.
when they did the Cooperstown Farewell Festival.
Right.
And that was an amazing night.
So-
The people that I got to see and meet that night was just mind-blowing.
So the Furnace had actually gotten to the finals of the Cooperstown. What is that called? The pudding.
Proof is in the pudding?
Yeah, but where if you win, you get to go open for Alice Cooper, right? And it was like 6 bands, and it was an awesome night. And it was kind of funny. So all these bands played. You got to play 2 originals, and you had to do a Christmas song because it was for the Alice Cooper Christmas pudding. And we did a badass version of Silent Night, by the way. And at the end of the night, this girl gets up there and puts in a tape, which is all the music and harmonies are on the tape. She sings. She has a beautiful voice, but it's almost like karaoke. And at the end of the night, Alice Cooper comes down. He's like, well, I don't select the winner, but the winner is the girl. And all the bands were pissed. Like, how the hell can you come up with the tape and that's who they pick? No shit. Like, 3 weeks later, I'm on the couch with my wife watching TV and watching American Idol, and it's like, from Phoenix, Arizona, Jordan Sparks. And I was like, that's the girl. So I got the claim to fame that we lost to Jordan Sparks at Alice Cooper pudding, whatever that show was called. It was crazy.
That is awesome.
Yeah. We knew something funky was going up because when we walked up, she was being interviewed by Channel 10. I'm like, why are they I didn't even know she was part of the band. She was sweet and all. I mean, she was so talented. But we were just like all butthurt because we all played. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, if we could have had our backing vocals on tape, man, we would have sounded that much better. But yeah, that was crazy.
She was the only one that brought backing tracks, and she brought the entire
entire thing.
Okay, so what? So you got the 2 shows, one in July and one in November.
Yep.
You've got a new song coming out
This Friday.
This Friday?
Burn Your Halo, it's called.
Burn Your Halo.
We
Okay.
probably should have sent that one in. Well.
Well, you said this one was your favorite.
Yeah, it is our favorite.
And that's cool. I like that. It'll eventually come out.
Yep. So we don't do albums anymore. I think Justin and I decided right at the beginning we just wanted to do singles.
Okay.
We want to stay relevant. So we feel like if we're always releasing stuff on Spotify every couple of weeks, we took a little bit of a break in between sessions, but once these 13 come out, we'll probably already be back in the studio, and I'm sure you'll get to that. But, so we've talked maybe about pressing a vinyl or CD. What do you think? I mean, we probably want to, we're getting shirts to sell at the show. Do you think we should get vinyl or CDs mixed for people to buy at the show, or do you think people are streaming too much?
I think people are streaming, but I think there are a significant amount of us, or a significant enough, anyway.
There's a significant amount of people that still buy.
Yes.
There you go.
As you can see, there are a few of us vinyl heads still out there, and the CDs will sell. I do have a link for you. Somebody else started doing something. It's actually on demand.
Yeah.
And you don't have to. They can order it and they'll press it and send it to them.
That's cool.
The only thing, if I need it autographed, then I got to chase you down and get you the autograph.
We'll be back.
They're not hard to find.
I'll get that link to you guys, and you can use that if you want.
Sure.
But I would say, have some,
Yeah.
a small order. I don't know what a small order
Yeah, we
would
can't
be,
do the
but-
1,500 anymore like I used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
You could do a vinyl. It'd be cool to get.
Well,
I would
If-
love to do a vinyl, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah. That's
Being a nerd, a vinyl collector, it's the one. I have a tape. I've done CDs. I just have never done a vinyl. So that's the last thing for me to accomplish.
right.
Yeah.
And then with what they can do, or not what they can, but what they do with vinyl today is just insane. I have an ELO up there that's so transparent.
Oh yeah.
Good luck finding the song, because you can't tell if that's the beginning of the song on your side or
Right.
the beginning of the song on the other side.
I agree. But
But
so hopefully we'll press something. I don't know if we'll get it done by July, but maybe by November we'll press all 13 songs on something that we just recorded with Larry.
Okay.
That'd be a great idea.
well, and another idea, because I did just get Godsmack did a
That's a band we get compared to a lot.
okay.
Yeah.
They did a pressing for one of the older albums, and did some great waxwork with it, nice designs. But they also did a 7-inch,
Yeah.
45. So
That's cool.
and it came with it. So and it was done in the same way that the LP was done in.
Right.
So stuff like that's kind of cool. Take the best song out of the bunch or the top 2 songs and put them
Do
on
an A and a B
7.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's see. And you're doing Mind's Eye.
Yeah.
You be at Mind's Eye for a while?
No, we were recording in a different studio, and that went real well. But we just decided to try something different. I have a long history with Larry. I've used him in the past for a couple of records, and we had such a belief in these songs that we had written that we just wanted to go back to Larry and see what they'd sound like with Larry, and we're happy we made that decision.
Yes.
You want to speak about that at all?
Very happy. You said it. I mean, it's a big step for me because it was the first time that I actually recorded in an actual studio.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun. And then Larry was awesome. The production has been great. Really cool guy.
The best.
I had a real just immediate sense of comfort going in there, which for the very first time, which is kind of odd, being me. But I was comfortable, and everything came out the way we heard it in our head and wanted it to come out. So it's been good.
Yeah,
So definitely going back there for our
follow-up.
Yes.
Yeah, we might record 5 or 6 from the first session, just to give them a different life and a different feel too. Because there's some early songs that I think we could do better, as a musician and as a production.
Just kind of revitalize.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we might do that, and then we definitely going to go back in. Hopefully, at the end of the year, we got another 10 to 12 we're writing. I'd say about 6 of them are already pretty much in the can, and then we probably have another 20 that are somewhere in finished status. But we want to go back in and do another 10 to 12 at the end of the year.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
We're not running short on material.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, tell us about Gaslighter, since we're going to close with that.
You wrote the
So
lyrics.
Gaslighter is, it's just, I mean, we all know one,
Well, yeah.
or multiple, and that's pretty much what the song's about. It's just, somebody gaslighting you into, and yeah, I mean, I'd like to say pretty self-explanatory, but that's where my idea came from, was just conversations with certain people. Don't want to say any names. Okay, I'm being gaslit. I'm being gaslit right now. Okay, I know a little better. Okay, but so yeah, that's where the song comes from.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to give Dale a big shout out on Gaslighter. I had some riffs and I sent it to him, and he added a part to the riff, which made the riff so much better once he got his hands on it. And then he wrote that long middle section, that real rockin' guitar part. Actually, Dale wrote, which is awesome. And then he played this really killer Mini Moog solo, which how many rock songs today have a Mini Moog solo in it, which is really awesome. So this song's really special for me too, because we got organs and mini moogs, and he's got other shit going on, but Dale went full all in this one, and I love the riffs that we came up with, and this is probably the biggest collaboration out of all the songs. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, and we're just really proud of it. I think it's catchy, it's modern, it's got a little bit of a Ghost vibe to it, which I love that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. Well, I do want to thank you guys for coming and hanging out. This has been awesome.
Yes, sir.
And I look forward to you guys coming back in the future when you've got some more to talk about.
Yep. Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to hit me up and say, hey, let's schedule something.
Hey, thank you so much, Mike. If I could just say again, don't forget the 44 July 6th.
July 6th.
July 6th, opening up for Edema. Please contact us for tickets, or if you want to reach out to Mike here, he could send you our way as well. But we definitely want to pack the house, being our first show. It's going to be a big coming out party, and we can't wait. And thank you, and listen to Gaslighter, because this is going to be the only place it's out for a while, and then until we officially release it. And we love this song, so thank you so much.
No, absolutely, and thank you. And here's Without Fear and Gaslighter on the YetiRadio.com in the Backstage Lounge. back in the YetiRadio.com in the Backstage Lounge, and Without Fear. I've got a couple of last minute questions for you. Mr. Paul Birch wants to know, for Dan, as a longtime local producer and songwriter, what makes Without Fear different from your other projects?
He is perfect question to ask after playing Gaslighter, right?
Right.
Yeah, he's gaslighting.
That's definitely
right
a Paul
now.
question.
Yeah, I think what makes it different is I'm not so much in a box anymore. Like, I felt like the old bands we had to write this style. Like, I could have never written a song called what we have called Behind Our Eyes in my old band, because it just wouldn't have worked, or a song called Into Love, which I fucking love that song. I get to add more of my other influences besides just rock and metal, like the alternative side of me, the punk side of me, the Beatles side of me. So I think that's what makes it different. And of course, Justin, I love working with this guy. He's, you've heard the term LDS, right? Is it LDS? No, LSD, lead singer. No, what is it? Lead singer disease? Yeah, lead singer disease. And Justin, on a scale of 1 to 100, he's very low on the scale. In the teens. Where I've worked with singers where they've been in the 90s, so it's
right.
It's a lot easier, and I could sleep at night not having to worry about it. That's a great question. Yeah. Take that, Birch.
And when you said her name, I don't know if you said it wrong, and he was just correcting me. He said it was Jordan Sparks that won the contest.
That's what I said.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Just checking.
Jordan Sparks. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't recall, so
okay.
Because I knew who you were talking about, and
yeah.
it went in one ear and out the other because I knew who you were talking about. And then Brianne says, "What legacy do you have? Do you hope to leave with your music?"
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm gonna have to write that one on my list for now on.
That's my daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. Do you have anything? I got to say hi to Adam, by the way, my son-in-law. He's also a big supporter. He's the number one Without Fear listener on AirPods, if you have that. But
I don't really know what to say to that.
I just want people. The legacy I want is just, I know, stupid and cliche, is that guy was a good songwriter. That's what's more important. I love my guitar playing. That solo in Gaslighter is really fucking hard for me to play. It's me pushing my limits. But, I really want people to say, that guy could write a song. That's my legacy. Like, Drago was this, he was that, but he could write a fucking song. And that's my legacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
To be proud of that.
It was like the scene from Days of Confusion. It's like, did the best I could while stuck in this place.
Yeah, exactly.
Did the best I could while I was stuck in this place. There you go. And I got to agree.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys again.
Thank you, Mike.
And awesome having you, and definitely have you back anytime in the future. So stay tuned and check everybody out on social media, Without Fear and the Yeti Radio, and see all the upcoming stuff and get tickets from them for their shows.
Yep.
And if you need any help finding them, hit me up, and I'll get you a link to where you can find them and get your tickets and go check them out and have a great time, because Arizona local music's crazy and fun and going somewhere.
Yep.
We just got to figure out where. We don't even know who's driving the damn bus yet.
No.
As soon as we get a bus driver, we'll be good.
We're getting there.
Along for the ride.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Welcome to the Backstage Lounge on the YetiRadio.com. The Yeti Radio, powered by DavidLeeImaging.com. David Lee Imaging in the Titletown Music Archive and the Live 365 app.
Can you dig it?
The Yeti.
Can you dig it?
Yeti.